still can't quite believe what just happened. I know. I inquired with the bailiff at the court session after the court session was adjourned, and it seems Mr. Vigil was taken to hospital to recover. Right. 10 years ago now, Mr. Vigil attempted to suicide by jumping out of the window of the prison governor's office. But ever since then, he's completely blocked the memory of those events from his mind. Nobody knew his secret, not his family, not even the man himself. But I forced it out into the open. Was it wrong of me to do that? Did I overstep the mark, I wonder? Bruno! Iris! You were miles away! Anyway, I've brewed a fresh pot of soothing tea for you. Oh, thank you. You and Susie have had an exhausting day so far, haven't you? Oh, certainly. Thank you, Iris. How thoughtful of you. Do you happen to know where Mr. Soames is? When we came out of the courtroom back in the defendant's antechamber, he disappeared. I don't know. He just suddenly sprang to his feet and left. All he said was, I must leave. I wonder if he's pursuing the mystery of Inspector Gregson's death. Well, you know what Hurley's always saying, don't you? There are mysteries in this world that should perhaps never be solved. For the construction of a solution comes only at the expense of the destruction of something else. What does that mean? He knows very well that when you open someone else's old wound, you often open your own too. He just can't take his own advice and leave well alone. Solving mysteries is too important to him. So true. That's what I like about Hurley after all. I suppose that's a lot of a great detective in some ways. So then, let's have tea, and then I'll give you a hand. Do you have time, Iris? I finished this month's manuscript at last, with barely a day to spare before the deadline. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it! A brand new story to read in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes! You know, I always hide Hurley's violin in the days before I have a deadline. You do? Poor Mr. Sholmes. I'm sure that's very wise, Iris. How sensible of you. Now then, my dear fellows, let's make a plan of action before we continue our investigation. Yes. Shall we discuss it? Oh gosh. Oh. So, how did it go in court this morning? Well, we still don't know the truth about what really happened. But one thing's increasingly clear. Lord Fonzies definitely didn't do it. Oh, goody! Yes, that's right. We managed to uncover several new facts as well. Really? There was another development too. Cosimo. Yes, it's quite clear now. Cosimo Summers not himself. The way he's acting, it's almost as if he's possessed. No, I mean, at the end of the proceedings earlier, it was like a bloodhound the way he was chasing down Mr. Vigil's forgotten past. Do not say bloodhound. Oh, that's a sore spot. He's not normally so mercilessly persistent. To be fair, it's his father we're talking about.
I mean, that wasn't the right place. I agree that much, but I can understand his feelings. What's going on in his head, I wonder? I really need to sit down with Cosmo and try to understand what he's going through. If Gregson really was murdered the day before his body was discovered, then Lord Von Zieks has to be innocent, you see.
The day before! That should be easy enough to work out, just by examining the corpse, surely.
Yes, you would expect so, but curiously, no time of death was included in the autopsy report.
That is curious.
There's still unanswered questions about Lord Von Zieks, though, aren't there?
Do you mean...
I mean, what was he doing there on Fresno Street that day in the first place?
According to the man's testimony, he said he was investigating Inspector Gregson, didn't he?
And it turns out that little room was actually the inspector's secret office.
Oh, that sounds like it has all the makings of a wonderfully devilish plot.
Well, then why was that notice board in there covered in all those particular papers? Papers about cases with a link to the Reaper. Oh, I'm starting to get a bad feeling about all this.
Oh dear, that sounds more like something horribly devilish. We must start by looking into Inspector Gregson's movements of late.
I never imagined I might have to be investigating an inspector's movements.
According to the entry in his diary, he was carrying out an incognito investigation of the Red-Headed Legion the day before his death. You mean he was doing the same thing as Hurley?
Well, Mr. Sholmes was trying to reply, whereas the inspector was supposed to be investigating.
I do wish it had been the other way around.
Anyway, as it turns out, the inspector who went to investigate the Red-Headed League that day wasn't actually Gregson at all. It was Mr. Vigil in possession of Gregson's identification.
You know what that sounds like to me? Establishing an alibi.
Yes.
Oh my, yes, you're absolutely right, Iris.
But for what? Why would Gregson need an alibi? It would appear that the inspector had something to do that he wished to keep secret.
I don't believe it. I always thought he was just a harmless lover of fish and chips.
Perhaps they were seasoned with something a little more potent than salt and vinegar.
I think perhaps we should try to move away from food analogies.
Anyway, if Lord Von Zieks felt the need to investigate Gregson,
I agree. We must try to find out what he knows.
A destination in mind.
Vigil, you say? Isn't that the name of the lady who came to visit Hurley yesterday? That's right. So ask Mr. Sholmes if he would help her to find her missing husband.
Only Mr. Sholmes completely passed the buck to us. I mean, it helped our case, kind of. Actually, didn't you say that Mr. Vigil had been taken to hospital? Another destination in mind. Do you know which one?
It's St. Sinners.
I'm starting to wonder if all the other hospitals in London have closed down. Well, there was St. Bart's a couple of cases ago. I can't remember which one, to be honest, but...
Well, that's amazing, Bruno. You found the lady's husband already.
Well, I suppose I have. By accident.
And 10 years ago, while Mr. Vigil was the chief warder of the prison, he was responsible for overseeing the professor's incarceration.
No. So when the convict escaped, he was held responsible and immediately dismissed.
Sometimes I really don't want to grow up.
There's more. For 10 years after that, While he was ostensibly working as a peddler, he also had another secret job. He was paid by Gregson to be a stand-in, to impersonate the inspector.
To impersonate Gregson? But why?
I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, Ginny was right. I'm starting to think all adults are up to no good now.
That's not including me, is it? Shit. I haven't paid anyone to impersonate me. That means he has ties to the professor and to Inspector Gregson, though. So I do think we ought to pay a visit to Mr. Vigil, don't you? Back to St. Sinners, then.
Well, I think it's clear what we need to do, isn't it?
Two things.
Let us investigate, my dear fellows. Oh, Iris, you're even more enthusiastic than usual today. If anyone has anything to hide, especially Wilson shooting, I will soon set them straight.
That water pistol.
The stuff full of a piping hot extra special blend of mine. And I'm quite sure it would be very effective.
I'd better be careful not to hide anything. Well, it feels a little strange that Mr. Sholmes is nowhere to be seen, but still. Let's go and see what we can find out.
Yes!
Alright, onwards! Let's go to the prison. Ah, what's he reading now?
Lord Von Six is reading, look. He doesn't seem like he wants visitors, does he?
He must have noticed that we're here, surely. What do you Nipponese want? There's no way to greet the lawyer who's trying his hardest to prove your innocence, is it? Perhaps not. I apologize. So, what can I do for you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Lord Von Six, speaking earnestly. Who the fuck will lift over London for the first time in months tomorrow?
This does feel very, very strange. But I, for one, welcome it. I must say, I was impressed. Well, thank you. Not by you, by your fellow Nipponese, your prosecutor friend. Oh, I see. Yes. Always under a shadow. It's sardonic, don't you think? For a man such as me, so loathing of the Nipponese, to be entirely at the mercy of the two of you. I suppose it's retribution for having played the part of the Reaper all these years. Played the part? Are you the Reaper or not, bro? Yes, the Reaper's identity. You once told me that you'd gladly allowed people to believe you were the Reaper, because it helped reduce the amount of serious crime that took place in London. If keeping quiet and playing the part benefits the cause I myself am committed to pursuing, then why would I choose to say anything? But the henchman of a criminal killed by the Reaper attacked you only the other day. And that was just the most recent of the many attempts on your life, wasn't it? Someone is clearly profiting from your silence about all this. Someone is using you! Believe me, ever since the Reaper first appeared, I've been doing my utmost to expose him. Or rather, expose the organization.
It's a whole organization?
inconceivable that all those accidents were orchestrated by one man. No, the Reaper always appears to have very accurate information about the accused in each case, which can only mean that somebody at Scotland Yard is involved. Someone... You can't mean... It's taken me many years, but I finally identified the central figure in this Reaper organization. Tobias Gregson. No! Gregson, the Reaper! You remember what he said to Gina about the Reaper only goes for the truly innocent? You know why he said that? You know why he knew that? So, the reason you were investigating Inspector Gregson, you intended to expose him as the Reaper. As I said, the Reaper of the Bailey is no single person. It's a highly secret organisation with close ties to Scotland Yard. But there's no doubt that Gregson was a key member of their organisation. Oh yeah, and y'all kept saying like, the crime scene is the Reaper's hideout. But we've proven that it's linked to Gregson. I don't believe it.
Are you trying to say that Gregson, he was behind all those awful criminals being there?
Gregson didn't do the dirty work himself. He was the tactician. His job was to covertly investigate the marks and plot their assassinations. In order to do that without arousing suspicion, he regularly needed a firm alibi. There we go. Which is where Mr. Vigil came in, posing as the inspector. Vigil knows nothing of the Reaper, but the room he rents on Fresno Street was almost certainly the headquarters of the operation. Gregson would have met the assassin there for briefings. So, we don't actually know who carried out the killings then? Actually, I do have a name.
What? If you can name the man, you have the true identity of the Reaper already then.
Or, if I can name the woman. She's a young woman by the name of Asa Shin. What? Shin? A pun name? Really? I know this is Ace Attorney, but gosh, this was really reaching it. Oh my god, I do not like this name, I'm sorry. I prefer your fake name, lady. Miss Asa Shin. The true name of a terrifying killer I know all too well. She came to Japan posing as a visiting student and murdered Dr. John H. Wilson. Then, just when it seemed that diplomatic protection would help her escape Japan and conviction, the mysterious woman was herself murdered in a small summer beach hut. And that woman was actually the Reaper of the Bailey! Mr. Naruhodo, this perhaps isn't the place to discuss. Oh no, of course not. We can't mention it here. The fact that she killed Dr. John H. Wilson. Because Iris doesn't know. It's very likely that the man was her father. Likely. Asa Shin. I should let father know at once. Yes, I agree. Asa Shin, honestly. Prosecutor Sorgi. Kazuma, isn't it? Kazuma Sogi. You say he's a friend of yours? My best friend. It's the whole reason I got to come to Britain. It was all on his merits. I have nothing but respect for him. Yes, I understand that only the very best students are selected for such opportunities. And I had a fine demonstration of how sharp he is in the proceedings earlier today. He missed nothing. In fact, his flawless performance very much reminded me of his father, Genshin Asogi, the professor. It's true that the aristocracy at the time was the root of numerous grave societal problems. They were abusing their power, playing with the common man as pawns in politics, in economics, in war. In many ways, Asogi was carving out a canker from society that we British couldn't deal with ourselves. I see. That's precisely why it makes no sense. Clint von Zieks was a noble and upstanding man. He wasn't corrupt. Why did that damn Nipponese have to go and take my brother's life? In spite of having once saved mine. He saved your life. How did that happen? It was 10 years ago, on a foggy night. What was to be the professor's final strike had sent a wave of panic through the capital. So Clint von Zieks had already been killed at this point then. Oh, okay. Genshin and I were walking some back streets at a late hour. Of course, at that point, I had no idea of the true nature of the man at my side. All of a sudden, "Don't make a peep, you're coming with us." We were surrounded. All of our assailants were armed with pistols, their faces obscured by scarves. Clint was not only from noble heritage, he was a brilliant prosecutor as well. The scum of London hated the sight of him. They had no sympathy for his younger brother either. He'd been targeted several times before already. "Yeah, it's Von Zieks, alright, we've got him!" I could hear them murmuring amongst themselves. I knew they were after me. But just when I thought my time had come. "If I let them kill you, Clint will never forgive me." It was Asogi's voice, just a whisper in my ear. After that, I don't remember exactly what happened. The next thing I knew was silence all around. Genshin laid on the cobbled street. Blood was seeping from his left hand. It shielded me. Two days later, they arrested him on suspicion of being London's most notorious mass murderer ever, the Professor. Awful for you. All at once, I lost the brother I revered, the foreign friend I held in such high regard. I am so sorry, Lord von Zieks. That's the end of my miserable tale. I never thought I'd recount it to anyone. Well, thank you for confiding in me. The Professor, the Reaper, Inspector Gregson. I wonder just how intimately related they are. I still can't quite believe that Gregson was essentially the Reaper, giving assassination orders to Giselle Brett. Assassin.
Mr. Naruhodo, let's go and inform my father. I'm sure our government will want to hear about this new information. Oh, that means I get to meet your daddy, Susie. Hooray!
Yes, alright. Let's head back to the Great Waterloo Hotel then. Let's. In some ways, this place seems to rather suit Lord Von's. Oh dear, did I say that out loud? You most certainly. Don't worry. Totally not gonna post it on the internet. No.
I thought it yesterday and I think it again today. This place is so princely.
It's a wild guess, but I have a feeling you'll think the same tomorrow too.
The tea has a finer fragrance than whatever they're serving in the tea room here, though, wouldn't you say?
Oh, look who we have here. This is an unexpected pleasure.
Father! Ooh, is this your daddy, Susie? How lovely!
What's a charming young lady? And you are? Really? So you're the author of The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, are you?
That's me, Iris Wilson, at your service, sir. Susie's been such a wonderful friend to me over the last year, you know.
Well, Miss Wilson, I must say I've read your work regularly, with much interest.
Iris actually lives with Mr. Sholmes, you know, Father.
Is that so? Well, perhaps that goes some way to explaining that bright look in your eyes. You wouldn't be smiling so airily if you knew just how bright she is, believe me. Now then, young Naruhodo, it was a pleasure seeing you in action earlier. As an invitee of this symposium, I was allowed to observe from the gallery, after I twisted some arms. And I must say, it was a truly exemplary performance. Well, thank you very much. Although I'm fairly sure you omitted by Cosmo on the end there. Oh, come on, give yourself some credit. No, please don't misunderstand. It was you who impressed me. Really? You didn't miss a step against Asorgi, and we all know how capable he is. Really, to have matured into such a fine defense lawyer in less than a year is quite extraordinary. It's very kind of you to say so. Really nice to hear. Finally got my own accolade. What I saw in court today confirmed what I'd been hoping for. The favour I mentioned to you yesterday, Naruhodo. I trust you haven't forgotten. No, I have not. No, you did mention something, didn't you?
But first, we have something to report, Father.
Of course. Shall we take tea while we discuss matters further? I wonder where just Jigoku has got to. Never mind him. Our main objective.
Father, do you know about the so-called Reaper of the Bailey?
I've heard rumours. Some members in the judiciary explained it all to me yesterday. Of course, when I was a visiting student here in London, the Reaper was yet to emerge. Right, he didn't appear until after that case when the visiting students had already returned home. Lord Von Ziegler was in the dock today. That was Baroque, the younger brother of Clint Von Ziegler, I believe.
That's right, and he's known throughout London as the Reaper, as you've heard. But the truth is,
It wasn't him behind all those mysterious deaths. It was somebody else. I see. So what you're saying is there's been a professional killer at work here. Exactly. Someone by the name of Asa Shin, in fact. I beg your pardon? Did you say Asa Shin? You mean that Giselle Brett woman who was responsible for killing my great friend? A friend of yours was killed? Professor Mikotoba, I think perhaps we shouldn't discuss this right now. Because the friend the professor is talking about is Dr. John H. Wilson. That's not something we want Iris to find out. Not like this, anyway. I've just remembered something. Biscuits! This hotel! That's the most delicious looking biscuits! That was rather out of the blue. She's doing this deliberately. I think I'll go and see if I can purchase some. I wonder, would you like to come, Iris? Oh, yes! You just try to leave me behind. Run along, ladies. Off you go. So that young girl is called Iris Wilson, is she? Yes, that's right. And she's the author of all those adventure stories starring the great Detective Sholmes. But the name of the credited author isn't Iris, is it? It's Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, I know. That's the name of her father, you see. Her father? Dr. John H. Wilson. I was deeply indebted to the man for all the kindness he showed me during my time in London. That's why I was keen to reciprocate and invite him to the Imperial Yume University 4 years ago. But he was murdered last year by Giselle Brett. Why? Why would the hand of the Reaper stretch all the way to Japan? Iris knows nothing about that case, but it seems very likely that the victim, Dr. Wilson, was her father. Well, I can't say that we ever spoke about his family, so I don't know if he had a daughter or not. But I think I could say with some certainty that he was never the great detective's partner. So it could have been another Dr. Wilson, you think? Well, John and Wilson are both common names after all. Still, it's probably best not to mention this to the young lady until we can be sure. That's what we thought, yes. We're back! With cinnamon biscuits! They smell delicious, Iris. I think cinnamon will go very well with the tea they serve here. Don't you, Susie? Yes, I'm sure you're right, Iris. Yeah, where do you go off to? I haven't seen Judge Jigoku for a while, have you? Guilty! Ah, 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 ah. But that guilty is still ringing in my ears. No, now you mention it, I haven't seen him since this morning either. I suppose since the symposium's opening was postponed, he'd have gone to explore with the great exhibition. That reminds me of something you mentioned yesterday. About Judge Jigoku having once been in the dock himself. Yes, it was all tied up with that accursed trial. The post-trial of Kasumi's father. Seiichiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. Oh my! He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged. Oh dear, although it's worryingly easy to imagine him doing that. Well, it was all right in the end. He was acquitted and we returned home to Japan together. Thank goodness! Ah yes, talking of Seishiro. I have a copy of the photograph we all took together here yesterday. Please.
Oh, what a lovely picture!
It certainly seems to show we arrived in Britain! A lovely family photo. Or half family. None of us had any idea what was coming when we took that, did we? Oh,
no, that's so true.
Ah yes, the favour. So, you mentioned a favour that you'd like to ask me. Well, this fateful trial that you're fighting. One way or another, it will be over before long. And when it is, I'd like you to accompany back to Japan. You want me to do...
What? Father, what's the meaning of this?
Now, Susato, you understand. You've seen how our courts work firsthand. Japan's judicial system is in its infancy, especially when it comes to defense.
You mean...
The Supreme Court of Judicature is in desperate need of a good defense lawyer. As soon as possible. Really quite urgently, in fact.
But I've not even been in London a year yet.
I've read all of Susato's reports. I'm well aware of your extraordinary talents. And having seen you in action with my own eyes earlier today, there's no question. You, Naruhodo, are precisely the man our country needs.
So, you'll be leaving them, Bruno. Then, what am I supposed to do, Father?
You came here to serve as Asogi's judicial assistant. Oh yes, she's supposed to be Kazuma's assistant. Our government is still in the process of deciding how to best deal with his situation though. You've always chosen your own path, Susato. And I trust your judgment. In this matter also.
Father!
Please, the pair of you, don't look so downcast. It's merely a suggestion, you understand. Hope if I'm honest, but I won't force you. All I ask is that you consider it and come to a decision by the time this trial concludes. Yes, alright.
Leave, will you, Bruno?
The thought hadn't even crossed my mind. Up until now, I've just been trying to do what I believe to be Kazuma's will. But it turns out that he's still alive, so... Where does that leave me? Well, if you'll excuse me now. I need to telegram government ministers and the Japanese police with this information about Asashin. Of course, Father. Thank you. I look forward to next month's installment, Miss Wilson.
Oh, good! And please, do come to Baker Street sometime, won't you? We'd love to entertain you.
I would be delighted. The best of luck for tomorrow, Naruhodo. And give my suggestion your full consideration, won't you? Yes, I will. Going back home. You know, Kazuma-sama has always meant a great deal to my father. sure I'd love the chance to meet with him and talk to him about all of this. Yes, no doubt. Assassin? Of course, it's so obvious! How could I have neglected to consider the possibility before now? Ah! Mr. Sholmes! Hurley! Where have you been? Why, I joined you for tea, of course. What an extraordinary question! I didn't notice you at all. No matter, no matter. Anyway, to more pressing concerns. Mr. Naruhodo! Yes? I must dispatch a telegram to your country at once. It is a matter of much urgency. To Japan, you mean? Tell me, to whom can I entrust the task? Quickly now, who? Well, my father has just now left to send a telegram to the Imperial Police Bureau of Japan himself. I see. Well, he looked reliable enough for a bearded fellow. I don't think what Father sports could be considered a beard, Mr. Sholmes. There's not a moment to lose! Kindly ask your trusty unshaven father to see that this is sent! I will, but what is it? Just read it. No questions at this time, if you please, Mr. Sato. All we can do is pray that for once, my deduction is awry. Doesn't that imply that your deductions are... Now then! You may be surprised to learn that I am a very busy man. I certainly have no time to hide behind settees and eavesdrop onto other people's conversations, and most... So that's what joining us for tea meant. I leave the sending of this in your capable hands then, my dear fellows. Wait a minute, Mr. Sholmes! He just sort of ran off, didn't he? At quite a pace. And left the unpaid bill for his tea behind too. I must catch up with Father at the telegraph office at once. Now run and call us a cab. Straight away. Quick as a flash. And there was me thinking everyone would be clamouring to pay Mr. Sholmes' bill. Always left with the leftovers. Ah yes, Mr. Vigil. Oh no.